नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 9, Chapter number 11, Verse number 1. In the previous chapter, we studied how Lord Ramachandra, he was installed as the king of Ayodhya, and everybody was very happy, everybody was engaged in their Swadharma. There was peace and happiness, no crime, prosperity all around, nature was favorable, rivers giving sweet water, rains were coming in time, trees were giving fruits, crops were coming. So people were healthy, no mental problem, no physical sickness, no old age, no wrinkles, and death was at their own will. So willy. And then described that how Lord Ramachandra was very devoted to his praja, his subjects, and Sita was very much devoted to Lord Ramachandra. So now in this chapter, he continues to describe about Lord Ram's kingdom, how he ruled, what he did after that. Bhagavan Atmana Atmanam Ramottam Kalpakaihi Sarvadevamayam Devam Ijacharyavan Makhaihi. So he says that when he became the king, then he performed yajna. Sarvadevamayam Devam. He worshipped that who is the personification of all devas, and that person is he himself. Atmanam Sarvadevamayam Devam Ije. And he himself did this. So he was worshipping himself, and he did this under the guidance of his Guru Acharyavan, and he did the worship through Makhai. So Makha means a yajna, and it's plural, that means he did many of them. Because as it will be described later on, he ruled for 11,000 years. So he did many yajnas. Even if he did once per year, he did 11,000. So that's a lot. So he is called here as Acharyavan. That means although he is Sarvadevamaya, he is the supreme of all supreme gods, yet he had a guru. But now people at present, they say that we don't need. What is the need of guru? Here Lord Ramachandra is having, but human beings, they don't want. So Acharya also means that he also studied. Now everybody is scholar without studying. Everybody can argue with you. So he is called here as Acharyavan, which signifies that he actually went to Gurukula. He lived under the guidance of his Guru, Acharya, and he studied. So in the Upanishad it says Acharyavan Purusho Veda. That only a person who has Acharya has knowledge. So Yatha Deve Tatha Guru. So as one has bhakti to Guru, to Deva as to Guru, then such a person is one who understands. So even he comes, as Krishna says, Dharma Sansthapanarthaya. So he establishes Dharma by his own example. That is what is being described here. There is no need for him to do yajna, but he did it to teach to others. If you do your own personal practice, your japa, your studies, then that is personal. But yajna is a community affair. It involves people. So yajna comes from root yaj, dev, puja, sangati karan. So there is dan, there is dev puja, worship, and there is sangati karan, association. Brings people together. As we know from Bhagavatam, that Bhagavatam was recited because the sages were doing yajna, namasarana. Namise nimsa kshetre, rishya sonkadaya. Right in the first chapter. So, Satram Sahasram, they were performing a satra for 1,000 years. And that's where they used to hear various Puranas. So first, Ugrashrava Sut's father, Romharsana Suta, he was reciting the other Puranas. Then Balaram came, he removed him, and then Ugrashrava recited this Bhagavad. So that was one of the activities which was performed on yajna. So Lord Ramchandra is also described here that he did many such yajnas. And purpose is Lok Sangrahartha. So Lok Sangrahartham Kartum Iharhasi. You deserve. So even perfected beings, they perform work so that they can be an ideal for others. They can set an example for others. So Hotre Adadad Disham Prachim Brahmane Dakshinam Prabhu Adhyavarye Pratichim Cha Udichim Samgayasa. So after the yajna, then he gave charity, because that is one of the activities which is done in yajna. So yajna is also to bring the sense of tyaga, renunciation. So devatartham dravityaga, that's what is yajna, but he also gives charity to the brahmanas, to other people, food to normal people. So he says that he gave Hotre Adadat Disham Prachi, the eastern direction, he gave to the Hota. When you do perform yajna, there are 4 ritviks: Hota, Udgata, Brahma, and Adhvarya. They are related to the 4 Vedas. So Adhvarya is related with the Yajurveda, Udgata with Samveda, Brahma with the Atharvaveda, and Hota with Rigveda. So there are Udgatas whose job is just to chant the Samgan. Adhvarya is who is doing the oblation. Brahma, his job is to supervise everything is performed according to the injunction, because you need one person to see. And then these 4, each one has 3 assistants, so there are 16 ritviks in total. One is the chief and then 3. So there are 4 for each. So it is said that after he completed the yajna, then he gave his whole kingdom in charity. So eastern direction he gave to Hota, and the southern he gave to Brahma, and western direction he gave to Advarya, and north he gave to Udgata. And then whatever was remaining in between, that he gave to the Brahmanas, the others. These were the people who were helping him, who were the Ritviks. Ritvik means those who do the yajna for the Yajman. So he is the Yajman and there is Ritviks. So Acharya dadau shesham yavati bhustadantara manyamane idam kritsnam brahmano arhati nispriya. So the remaining of the land, which was in between these 4 directions, he gave it to Acharya, which means Vasishtha. Why? He said that it is these Brahmanas only who deserve this. And especially his Acharya says, Manyamana idam kritsnam brahmano hi arhati nispriya. Because Brahmana is considered as nispriya. He does not have desires. Brahmanas dehoyam kshudra kamaya nishyate krishrena tapsache pratyananta sukhaya. So it says that the body of a Brahmana is not meant for petty jobs like material enjoyment, material goals, but should study Vedas. So Brahmana niskarno Vedan adhitya adhyapayat. So Brahmana should study the Vedas without any purpose. As Krishna says, karmanyeva adhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana, without any desire for fruit. That is the meaning of karma yoga. That you just perform your karma, your duty, without any attachment to the results, to the fruits, or to the action. So Brahmana's job was to study the Vedas and teach to others. Yes, Pathan and Pathan, Yajan and Yajan, Dan and Pratigraha. These are the 6 activities. Out of that, first 3 are primary, Pathan, Pathan and Yajan, and others are secondary. So this is their prime duty, therefore they are called nispriya, that they do not have any mundane or material desires. And therefore he says they are the one who actually deserve this earth, because they would not exploit. They are the one who can do welfare to others. Because one who has a spriha, one who has desire, then he would like to fulfill them at the expense of others. But one who is free from desire, then that person can actually do service, because he has no interest for oneself. So Brahmana is described like that. So that's why Lord Ramchandra, he gave his land in charity to the Brahmanas. So they deserve it. So now at present the feeling of scholars is opposite of that. That Brahmanas were greedy and they exploited and they made the scriptures, Shastra in such a way that they could control and oppress the other ignorant people. That's why they would not teach to them Shastra. So this is also a study of, this is also the meaning they come out from studying the same books. But here it is clearly said that it is Nispriha Brahma. And you will see this right after that from their behavior. That after they got this, what did they do? They did not keep it with them. So Lord Ramchandra is giving it to them and they don't want to keep it with them. Because if they are Nispriya and they are not expert in ruling, they may know how to rule, but that's not their job, that's not their dharma, that's not their inclination. So therefore they did not take it. So that's what is described in the further. So ityayam tadalankara vasobhyam visheshitaha tatha ragyapi vedehi swamangalya visheshitaha. So it is described that he gave everything to the Brahmanas and there was nothing left except just the dress which he was wearing and few ornaments which he had. So everything, he opened his treasury and donated everything to people, Brahmans, whoever came, whatever they wanted, he gave them, elephants, horses, cows, whoever wanted. What they call as a yard sale. Right? So he says whoever wants they can pick and take. So only his dress which was on his body and the ornaments, they are the only one which remained. Tadalankara vasobhyam avsheshita. He would have given that also probably, but he thought that this is worn by me and I don't want to give it. There are people who think that he is giving us things which are used by him. So out of humility, he did not give that. All the people would be happy to have that. And these days, some celebrity has worn some piece of cloth or this or that, then they sell it. So the people are very eager to buy that. Sometimes things go for very heavy price. So I'm sure people would be happy to accept that from him as his prasad. But he did not want to do that because he did not feel it is good that as a Kshatriya he gives something used by him to the Brahmanas. And then the queen Tatha Ragyapi Vaidehi Swamangalya Sheshita. So Vaidehi is there. So in her case it looks like that she gave her ornaments also. Because here it says that Swamangalya Sheshita. Swamangalya is this Mangal Sutra which married women put on at the time of marriage. It is supposed to be the sign of auspiciousness, means husband is alive. So except that, looks like that she gave up everything. Maybe not to the Brahmana lady, but some other people were there, she gave. So she did not keep. So therefore truly she is called here as Vaidehi. So Vaidehi means who is not attached to the body and bodily things. So So no attachment. Therefore she donated everything. So this is something very extraordinary, to give everything in charity and not keep anything. And where are you going to go now? That means now you have to leave the palace and go to exile. So they thought that we are used to it anyway. We have practiced enough. So we can go back there. Maybe they are missing it after coming into all this city life. Then maybe they are hankering to be back in forest. So they said, just give up everything. So this time there will be no hope of again coming back. At least last time it was fixed for 14 years. And they have to come back and accept it. Now this time they are themselves giving it up. So then we go back to forest. But it did not happen. स्वतेतु ब्रह्मण्य देवस्य वात्सल्यं वीक्ष संस्तुतं प्रीता क्लिन्नधिय तस्मै प्रत्यर्पेदं बभाषिरे. So what did the Brahmanas do? So they vatsalyam viksha sanstutam. They saw Lord Ramachandra's vatsalya, his affection towards his people, the Brahmanas, which was worthy of praise. Sanstutam means it was extraordinary. So they were very happy by his behavior, and their heart melted. Klinadhiya tasmai pratyarpyanam babhashire. So they returned everything back to him and spoke as follows. So let's see Vishwanath Chakravarti's comment. Makhans chakara tatyaja sitam sa vivram gata bhratrin digvaje yuktam rama ekadashe prabhu. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti summarizes this chapter, 11th chapter, in one sloka. He says, Makhans chakara tatyaja. That Lord Ramachandra, he did many makhas, many yagyas, and tatyaja Sitam, and he also abandoned Sita. That story will come here. And sa vivram gata, it is also described how Sita entered inside the earth. And Bhratrin Digvajaye Ayuktaha Rama Ekadas. And he employed his brothers for conquering the different directions. For doing the yajna, you have to release that horse, and then it goes around. So the brothers, they followed the horse. So this will be described here. Atmana atmanamiti yajna sadhanasya yajniyasya cha svabhinnatva abhavat. So in the first sloka it was described that he worshipped himself by himself. So Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti says that it means that the ingredients which were utilized for doing the yajna, they were not different from him. So as we have in Gita, Brahmarpanam Brahmahavi, Brahmagna Brahmanahutam, Brahmayavaten Gantavyam, Brahma Karma Samadhi. So everything is Brahman. You offer to Brahman, the Havi is Brahman, the fire is Brahman, the person who is doing is Brahman, the action is Brahman. So that is the significance, Atmana Atman. And Uttam Kalpaka means the best ingredients. Sometimes when people do puja or they want to give charity, they give the most useless things. So I say Uttam Kalpaka, the best. Tadantra tasan disham madhye yavati bhustam. So he gave the directions to the 4 priests, Ritviks, and the land in the center. Whatever was remaining, Shesh Bhutam, Brahman Jati Meve, so that he gave to Acharya. Why? Brahman Jati Meve Yad Dan Patri Karoti Tatra Hetu. So he thinks that it is only the Brahmanas who deserve to be given the charity. In 3rd canto, Kapila Dev, while he is talking to his mother, he makes a very big list of who is most qualified to be given charity. So the highest person to be given charity is Krishna, God himself. Before that there is a big list of different people. So here he says that it is Brahmanas. Tatra hetu ki idam krishnam eva bhutalam brahmana eva. Why? Because he says that it is Brahmanas only who deserve this. Yato nispriha iti manyama. Because he considered them to be as nispriha, without any desire. Then about the alankara. Tad alankara api dehastha alankara Vastra Vyatirikta Nam Annesham Alankaradi Nam Api Dattatvat. So he says that he gave everything except the ornaments which were on his own body. Other than that, all the ornaments were also distributed. Sita tu Dehadavyuttarya Alankaradikam Dado. But Sita, she gave up even the ornaments which she was wearing on her body. Samangalyam nasa bharana chudadi matram avsheshitam yasya. So Samangalya here has a different meaning, not just Mangal Sutra, but it says that this refers to the golden bracelets, chudi. Say Chudadi, Nasa Bharan, and the nose ring, because these are also considered as signs of auspiciousness. So this he will not give. So now he describes, Sukadeva Goswami describes what did the Brahmanas say when they got the kingdom. Then they were not very happy that, oh, now I got this big piece of land and I will do this and I will make plan. So they did not think like that. The sign of their being nispriha, which was said in the previous verse, that they did not have any desires or attachment. So this is what this is, aprattam nastvaya kimnu bhagavan bhuvaneshwara yanno antar hridayam vishya tamohansi swarochisa. So he says that, what is that you have not given us, O Lord? You are Bhagavan and Bhuvaneshwara. You are the controller of the Bhuvana. So what is not given means that whatever we need, we already have that. And more than that, why shall we have? We need place to live, some ingredients to do our Agnihotra morning, evening. And that's all we need. Little food that we get. So what are we going to do with this? So they did not keep it with them. And moreover, they say that you destroy our ignorance by sitting in our heart. Yanno antar hridayam vishya tamohansi swarochasa. So, as Krishna also says in Bhagavad Gita, nasyami atmabhava, that I destroy the ignorance by entering into the heart. So the same they are saying here, that you have destroyed our ignorance, and that is the greatest gift. So various types of charities, the charity of land, charity of water, charity of food, charity of shoes, charity of umbrella, all these types of charities are described in Shastra. In the summertime, not this year probably, but in Vrindavan there are many places people just give water, whoever wants to come and drink water. One person is sitting behind in the heat, you just see the lota outside, and anyone come, they drink water now. So Jal Dan, Anna Dan, Bhumi Dan, so Paduka Dan, Shatra Dan. But the topmost Dan is Jnana Dan. Because all of the charities, they are temporary benefit. But if you can give spiritual knowledge, then that will bring permanent result. So nahi jnanena sadrisham pavitram iha vidyate. Because jnana it burns everything. Right? So Krishna says that it burns all the sins, purifies one's existence. Otherwise, you give other types of jnana and then you have to protect it. So here, when you give knowledge, then you do not have the fear that somebody is going to steal it. I have to put it in bank, or I have to lock it up, I have to guard it. So no one can take it away from you, no one can claim a share in it. Otherwise, people also claim share sometimes in your wealth. So knowledge is not like that. So he says that if you have given us the biggest charity, we don't need this external. So that is internal. Internal wealth and external wealth. Two types of wealth. And internal is more precious than external. Now one question can be raised here, that in Smriti Shastra there is one dosha. It is called Datta Apahari dosha. That if you give charity to somebody, then you should never take it back. If you give and then take it back, then you become sinful. So now Lord Ramchandra gave it in charity, and then they are giving it back to him. So what will happen to the Datta Apahari dosha? So different explanations can be given for this. That these Brahmanas are already saying that you have given us knowledge. So now we are giving back Guru Dakshina to you. We did the yajna for you, you gave us the land. You have given us knowledge. So we give this our Guru Dakshina to you. So it is not Datta Apahari. Some people also explain that Brahmanas, what do they need? They need some kusha grass, some wood for doing yajna, some ghee, sesame seed. So they said, you give us that and in exchange we'll give you this. Somebody has explained that Lord Ramchandra gave them a cow. And the value of cow is more than anything. There is a story in Mahabharata that once there was a fisherman and he has put his net in the sea, and when he pulled the net, then one sage came because he was there doing his meditation. So he got caught in the net. So when he saw it, he was very afraid that he can curse me, because he was sitting in meditation. So he fell at his feet and he says, "Please excuse me, and I did not mean anything." So he said, "Well, there is no problem. You threw the net and I got caught, so I belong to you now. So you can sell me. After all, you are catching fish, and these poor fish have to lose their life, and you get little money. So I should have value more than fish. So why don't you sell me and get a lot of money?" So then he said, "Well, I don't know who is going to buy him." Somebody buys it, he has to feed you. Fish they eat. What are they going to do with you? You don't have a bank balance. You don't own some piece of land. So what is the use? So he says, "No, you call the king and maybe he will buy." So he sent a message to the king that this thing has happened in my net. Please come and buy it. So the king also, when he heard, he said, "This is very strange." So he came and he said, "Chavan Rishi, if I'm not wrong." So he said, "Okay, what is your price?" So Rishi said, "You tell." So he said, "Well, maybe whatever." He said, 5,000 coins. He said, "That's too little." 10,000. He kept on increasing. He said, "You think my value is only this much?" So he will always look at the king in a surprise and say, "That's all you want to give me?" Says, "What is the value of this?" So then he says, "Okay, then what can I do? I have nothing remaining. I have given all my treasury to you." So then he says, "No, you call some brahmanas and consult them. They will tell what is my value." So then they call the brahmanas, and then he says, "They just give him a cow." He says, "Cow is the only thing which is more than a sage. Not anything, all this land and this and that." So that is the value. This, of course, the story is to show the glory of cow, how important is cow, because in the cow all the devas reside. So cow is not just an ordinary animal, but it is like the moving temple. All the devas live in it. So then that is explanation which gives Ramchandra. Maybe he borrowed one cow because he had already given everything. And he gave it to them, and then he got his kingdom back. And then he gave the cow back to this guy from whom he has borrowed. So this way, we follow the dharma. So anyway, so the brahmanas, they were very happy to give it back to him. And then they said, Namo Brahmanya Devaya Ramaya Kuntha Medhashe Uttam Shloka Dhuriyaya Nyasta Danda Arpitangraye. So they said that Namo Brahmanya Devaya. So God is worshipable and He is called Sarveshwara or Sarveshwareshwara, the Ishvara of all Ishvaras. But He is also called Brahmanya Deva, means one who worships Brahmanas. So there are two people whom He has utmost respect for, and that is Brahmanas and cows. So as for Krishna we have Namo Brahmanya Devaya, Go Brahman Hitaya. So He works for the welfare of cow and Brahmanas. So the earth also takes the form of cow and it goes to Brahma. In the first canto of Bhagavatam also, Dharmaraj and Bhudevi, they are in the form of cow. So that's why cow is so much, or rather was so much honored in India. People actually had a lot of respect for cows. In the house, in villages, the first chapati, I remember when my mother was cooking, the first chapati is for the cow. No one can touch that. And the last chapati is for the dog. That's how it was. So cow was the first person to be fed. And it was respected like that. People, you may call it blind faith or whatever, they were not educated, but they had that respect for a cow. They had that feeling. They did not have this kind of this critical thinking. That what is this? This is only an animal. So any problem happened, bring the cow. Anybody is dying, what do you want your last wish? Donate one cow. Child was born, donate a cow. So this was considered as greatest activity, charity, to donate a cow. So now also many people do that. But of course now people have lost that kind of faith in cows. And you can see how cows are wandering in Vrindavan eating plastic. Nobody cares. So this is the situation present, but in the past, cows, everything actually rotated around cows and Brahmanas. That's why Krishna himself, because they are nispriha, they do service to humanity without anything, any demands. Because to protect the Vedas, the whole society was based on Vedic knowledge. So to dedicate their life just for studying that, people were like that. They did not think, okay, like now people say, if I study Sanskrit, then what will happen? They did not ask this question, if I study the Vedas, then what will happen? How will I eat? This question itself did not come in their mind. Now this is the first question which comes. If I study this, then what is the benefit? So this Phal Buddhi, this consciousness of getting the result, this result-oriented thinking is prominent at present. So even people are doing charity, at present many people are doing charity, distributing food and for poor people. But there is something underneath it. They are not doing it just like that. They actually openly talk about it. So they want some benefit through name, fame, something else. So these Brahmanas were not like that. So they did service to humanity. They were the upholders of dharma, because how you will uphold dharma if you do not understand it? So they practiced it themselves. Samdam, tapas, titiksha, arjvam. These were the qualities. So this is Brahma Karma Swabhavajam. This was their Swabhavaja, natural. Not something which was imposed. Now people are saying, I am Brahmana. Do you have these characteristics? Samdam, tapa, titiksha. So show me that. Then you can call yourself as Brahman. And because they say, well, why this by birth and caste system and this and that? Okay, be Brahmana, but then manifest the qualities, what is written in Bhagavad Gita. So, Soch, Santosh, Tapatyaga, all this, cleanliness, contentment, austerity, renunciation, and of course, along with that, study of the Vedas, study of Shastra, that is the most important thing. So it is not just question of that you put on a thread and you become Brahmana. This character should be there. And that's why Krishna worships them. Krishna himself says that Janmana Brahmana Guru. It is for this reason he says that they have to be respected, even somebody who is born Brahmana. So Namo Brahmanya Devaya Ramaya. Who is this Brahmanya Deva? Is Lord Ramachandra. And Akuntha Medase, whose intelligence is not obstructed. So without any, his buddhi is supreme. So you may find fault in his actions now. And you can say why he did like this, why he did like that. And people are doing that. But his buddhi is at a different level. Our tiny little brain cannot grasp his actions. Because his actions are not motivated for anything material as we are. So we think, because we calculate and we try to analyze others' behavior according to our own understanding. We think that what would I do in such a situation, and he also must be like that. So a common person does not know how a person who is free from desires would act. How the intelligence of such a person functions. So it is difficult to understand. So what is that? Vaishnava Kriya Mudra Vigyarna Bujaya? Swamiji? Yes? So it is difficult to understand the Kriya and Mudra, the behavior, the act, the appearance of a Vaishnava saint, because Vaishnava is also dedicated to God. And Brahmanas are dedicated to the Vedas. So Brahmanas are dedicated to Shabda Brahma. Vaishnavas are dedicated to Parabrahma. So both are Anyavilashita Sunyam. So because they do not have this kind of abhilasha as we have, then it is difficult to understand their mode of action. Why are they acting then? What is inspiring them? What is impelling them to act? That is difficult to grasp for an ordinary person. Therefore, whatever conclusions you draw about them, it's mostly wrong. You can draw, because if there is somebody and he is doing something, you can always grasp something from it according to your own level. But that does not mean that you really understand that. So that is the situation as present, that how the Shastras are being studied by people who are really not qualified for this. But they study and they come up with their understanding, and that becomes understanding of common people then, because they also don't know. So these people are scholarly in the world and they give their findings, their opinion, and they are good. They put it in a very logical manner, dialectic manner, scholastic manner. So that is very impressive for a common person who has no sense of discrimination, no viveka. So then they are bewildered. So this is how Shastra has been hijacked, misconstrued, misunderstood. But if you study like this, study these statements, then you understand the caliber, the mentality of these people. But as I have said earlier, that these are the ideals which are set here in the book. In practice, you may not see that, but you should try to understand the distinction between the system and its application. So you cannot criticize the system by seeing how it is being applied by people. That is wrong to do that. You can say that people are not following the system properly, or they are not up to the mark. They are not being faithful to the system or truthful to the system. That is valid comment or statement or conclusion. But to say that the whole system was designed for exploitation and for oppressing a class of people, that is certainly a big misunderstanding in the name of scholarship. So he says, Ramaya Kuntha Medasa, his Medasa, his intelligence is not ordinary. It is Akuntha. No one has intelligence which you can call as Akuntha. If you don't sleep for one night, your intelligence doesn't work. So Uttama Shloka, Dhuriyaya, he is the chief of those who are praised in the Uttama Slokas. And Nyasta Danda Arpit Angare. It's a very nice word. So Angre means feet, and Arpita means offered. So he has offered his feet to whom? Those who are Nyasta Danda. Those who have given up punishing others. Means those who are not envious of others, jealous of others, hateful of others. To such people he gives his feet to worship. So as Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Advaishta sarva bhutanam matra karuna evacha nirmamo nirahankara samadukha sukakshami santushta sattam yogi. So, Advaishta Sarva Bhutanam, that is the meaning of Nyasta Danda. One who has no dvesha towards any living being and who is friendly, who is karuna. So as in Yoga Sutra also the Patanjali gives, in Buddhist religion also they have this Kalyan Mitra, is a popular word, right? There, Kalyan Mitra. So, Karuna. So these are characteristics which are described in Yoga Sutra and Buddhism to make your heart clean, to remove the klishta vrittis. So to such people he gives his feet, means that they are devoted to him, they are engaged in his direct service. That is the meaning. So he says this is how Lord Ramachandra is. So in these 7 slokas, his character, his behavior, how he was ruling, that is being described. So in the next one, the famous story comes of criticism by washerman that we'll read tomorrow. Or tomorrow there is no class. Monday. Any question anybody has? Yes.
So yesterday you spoke about these, how Srimati Sita Devi epitomizes the good qualities of a devotee, and you gave some counter-examples. And one of these counter-examples was depicting an anatta of thinking, oh, I'm doing so much service and someone else does nothing. And I was wondering what kind of mentality or problem is behind such a thought. So this indicates that you said something like, this indicates that one is not doing seva with the pure motive, but with another motive. And this motive is just recognition, or what
it
else?
could be recognition, desire to gain some power, you want to get some praise, or you just have dislike for somebody, mentality to criticize. That also makes you feel good. So then only you think like that.
So then the problem here again is that if I relish this kind of thought, then this is a problem, no?
Of course.
But what happens if it's if it's a fact? Yeah, that there is someone who is not doing anything.
And then you don't have to be proud. You should think that actually I am fortunate that I have got the opportunity to do seva. After all, when you came to spiritual life, you did not come that this and this person is not doing as good as I am doing.
Yes.
You came for yourself. So you be concerned about that, and you should actually feel fortunate that I am making good use of my body, mind, speech, my energy, my time. Yesha buddhimatam buddhi manisha cha manishinam yam martena amritam satyenam apnuyatma amritam. That with this mortal body I can attain Krishna. This is the wisdom of the wise. So then you can feel compassion on them, not be disrespectful that they are not doing it. And you can feel that I am fortunate and blessed that I have the opportunity to do this.
So it was mentioned that the cow is more valuable than even Brahmana. I just wanted to confirm that.
Valuable means respected, because Brahmanas also worship cow. It is also Krishna himself worships cow, who is worshipable of Brahmanas even. Right? Krishna is worshipable of everybody, and he is worshipping cow. So in that sense, value here does not mean value in the term of dollars and euros.
Yeah.
Since it is dear to Krishna.